All right. Today I want to talk about what does investing looks like. Investing is a roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down. And today I really wanted to show you guys my actual portfolio, but I didn't figure out how to hide the numbers. It's a healthy six-figure portfolio, but I'm just not comfortable yet. But Palantir is my largest holding in my portfolio because I owned it for so long and mostly because of the gains. So the Palantir chart, it's almost like a screenshot of my portfolio. Yes, I have other companies, but majority was weighted by Palantir. So it gives you a good reference, and we'll talk a little bit more. But before we get to it, I want to talk to you. Yeah, you. Stop creeping behind the curtains. Like and subscribe. Now that I'm an official YouTuber, let's get to it. Since we're going to talk about Palantir, let's put on my Palantir hat and represent my favorite company. So, investing. How did I get into investing? We had the whole COVID crash in 2020 where all the stocks crashed, and I had a dream. Yeah, I'm Martin Luther King, I guess. I had a dream. But in reality, I did. I had a dream where I invested money into a company or the stock market, and I was able to retire at 40. I woke up and I made that my goal. It didn't go too well at first. I remember my the first stock that I bought. It's gonna be a little bit funny. It's called Marijuana Company of America. I thought this is going to be $1 million maker. Weed was not fully legalized yet in the United States. I'm like, oh, this company is ahead of everything, and it's Marijuana Company of America. If anybody's going to get money off of it, it's that company. So I put in $100 thinking that's it, I'm set. A couple months go by, that $100 became 3 cents. So I lost it all, but luckily it was just $100. It was well worth it to learn and get into that journey. So let's take a peek at Palantir. I started buying it when the company first started. This was the only blind buy, think later that actually worked out for me. And thank God. Because typically, when you just buy just because somebody told you to buy, you don't do too well and you probably buy a Marijuana Company of America and go to zero. So, as you can see here, Palantir, started off around $9 a share. I started buying a little bit, not too much. I wasn't making too much money and I wasn't really investing that much. And it skyrocketed. Went all the way up to $34, $35 a share. I'm like, oh no, I should have put more money into this. I started buying in the 30s because remember, I didn't know much about this company. I was just buying it to buy it. Buy now, think later. And it started to crash. Started going all the way down to the low eights, low $5. So I bought in the 35s. My average was very high. It was high 20s. And now I'm down $25,000. And I didn't have that much money to my name. So 25,000 was a lot. But this is why it's important to dollar cost average into great companies. If I would have dollar cost averaged in Marijuana Companies of America, might as well just throw that money in the trash. It's not coming back. It's worthless. You're catching a falling knife. But luckily, I did a lot of homework in Palantir. My conviction only grew, and now we're sitting in a lot of gains. Now the company is at $114 a share, and my average is at $11. So very, very good. And this is kind of how my portfolio looked like. It went up and then it went down. But let me tell you something. There hasn't been a single time where I bought a company and immediately went up. Usually when I buy a company, the next couple of days I'm losing money. It's going down. But I don't sell. If anything, if I thought it was a great buy, for instance, Google, if I thought Google was a great buy at 190, I think it's a better buy at 150. And Google's not going anywhere. It's not like Marijuana Companies of America. So you buy more, you buy more. But in that time horizon, you start seeing the growth. You start seeing the gains as you see here. So Palantir had a major correction recently, and it went all the way down to even lower than that, like $75, yeah, $74 a share. Went from 125 to $74 a share. Big loss. My portfolio saw a huge loss. Everything, everybody's like, hey, what's going on? When we make money? So if I would have just got into the market now, I would have had these losses as being my overall gains. But since I had time on my hand, even with a $74 drop, like all the way down to 74, it still beats $11 a share, and I was still sitting on a lot of real profits. So tough it out, time it out, and just buy great companies. There's a lot of $1 million makers out there. If you bought a pharmaceutical company, you're gonna hear all these great stories. Oh, this company is gonna cure drugs. I mean, it's gonna cure cancer. Invest in it. Right now, it's 3 cents a share. Blah blah blah. If you buy $100 and like the company does well, you're gonna be a millionaire. Probably, yeah, true. But odds are that company is not gonna survive. It's either going to go bankrupt or a big company like Pfizer is going to come and buy them out. So this is my investing money. This is my hard-earned money. This is the money I'm using to retire. I'm not doing that gamble. I'm not gambling on that 1 out of 100 stocks that are going to potentially cure cancer and make me millions. Because odds are they're not going to cure cancer. And if they do, they're going to be bought out. Or if they don't, they're going to go to zero because there's no more funding and I'm going to lose all my money. So it's very important to find the good companies, the great ones, the ones that will survive, and you dollar cost average. If you thought Google was great buy at 190, it's even a better buy at 150, and you can see their earnings growing. So if the cash and profits are growing, that's a great buy. But if you're buying a company in the experimental phase or stage one trials, or it's not even making any money, it's off of investing money. Like people are investing into the company. Hopefully, one day they could find some scientists and make a cancer saving drug. It's too risky. This is you're investing money. And just remember, you are not going to time the bottom. If you look a little bit closer, this is how Palantir looked like throughout the day. It was up, it was down, it was up again, and tomorrow could be down again. It's a roller coaster. But just remember, time in the market makes you the most money. Because if you look throughout the year to date, since December, it's a roller coaster. You can legit ride this. This would be a fun roller coaster. In 1 year, now we start seeing. So just remember, time in the market is the most important thing when you're buying great companies. And when they go lower, so let's say Google was here and then it crashed down to here, it's a great time to buy because eventually it will go back up. You know, same thing with Palantir. When you buy great companies, you hold them, you dollar cost average, you lower down your average when you can, and you hold it for the long term. Because at the end of the day, investing is a roller coaster in the short term. You may go up and down, you may lose money, you may gain money in a day, all that stuff. But in reality, if you have time on your side with a great company, you're never going to get these prices again. So I hope this was helpful. And yeah, shoot me a comment on the next video on what you need. Peace.